How you mean you wash your hands? Hey, you violent my boy. Well, every time that you get touched, you have to wash up your hands. Put on your mask, practice some distance, stop spread corona. Like, it's Adamo. And on behalf of the Virgin Islands Department of Health, hold it down on all the mass gatherings. Wearing a mask not only protects you, but it protects your loved ones and your community. Like, help stop the spread down.
What happened there?
Clear.
What's happening?
Clear. Send the next one.
This school year, all VI public school students will learn from home, at least until January. That means you should be properly groomed each morning. Put on your uniform shirt and a skirt or pants that reaches to your knees. Sit at your desk or a table with your back against the wall and turn on your computer and camera before class begins. Your teacher and your classmates can see you now. If you don't have a computer, you will still learn with your class. But every student will receive his or her very own Chromebook soon. Learning from home is still learning. Let's do it.
Together, we are making progress against COVID-19 and getting our active lives and economy going again. As businesses unlock their doors and restock their shelves, you remain safer at home. But if you must go out, use the government's guidelines to stay safe. Wear your face covering when entering a business. No face covering, no service. Use hand sanitizer before entering and when leaving a business. And stay at least 6 feet apart. Practice social distancing. Safer at Home USVI is step 3 in our path to a new normal. We're depending on you to do your part. For more information, visit www.vi.gov.
Good evening, and welcome to episode 28 of the Press Box. I'm Dotson James, your host for this evening's show. Thank you for joining our virtual town hall. This is a break from us talking to you and an opportunity for you to talk with us. With me today are St. Croix Administrator Samuel Sanis, St. Thomas Water Island Administrator Avery L. Lewis, and St. John Administrator Shakima Jones out of St. Thomas. Good evening, administrators. Well, we're here tonight to talk about administrators. I, myself, being a former administrator under the Young Francis administration, had a position that, to me, was a very important position. And to our guests here this evening, the administrators, I'm sure it's the same procedure. It's a mayoral position as far as I'm concerned. It's a position that gives you the authority to deal with the constituents gives you an opportunity to talk directly with the governor. It gives you more of an opportunity to talk to the cabinet members and make sure that not that they're doing their job, but how can we assist in doing the job. Avery, tell us a little bit about how it's been so far. You came on in January of 2019.
Yes, I did.
And how has it been so far for the last year and a half?
Well, first, I'd like to say thank you, Mr. James, for having me here this evening to express the role of the Office of the Administrator. I think one of the greatest role of the administrator is that I serve as the conduit from the community to the ears of the governor and to the administration, and bringing letting the governor know, well, this is what's happening in the streets, this is what we need to do to correct it, and let's move forward. I also think that the role of the administrator, even before this position, I looked at it as the person that maybe you just didn't know who to call. You didn't know which agency solves that particular problem. So I'm the gap between you and resolution.
So what did you do before becoming the administrator, and how did that transition from what you did before to now being the administrator? How did that help you?
Well, before this, I served as an educator in the classroom. I taught in elementary level, and then I was the AFT president, and a little bit of union, and then went into federal grants, and then, successfully I'm here for now and for 8 years.
So you have an opportunity to educate the public as we go along, right?
Yes.
Next couple of years.
That never stops.
That never stops.
stops.
Sammy, talk to the people of the Virgin Islands, but more importantly, you let them know that you are in charge of the Big Island.
Yes, the Big Island.
And
I was going to say the best island, but I can't say that right now.
You can say we won.
No, it's the role of administrator, like what my partner here, Avery, stated, is basically the conduit between the executive branch and the people of the Virgin Islands. And usually what we try to do, what my office try to do, as well as the other offices, is that we try to direct individuals to the right path in terms of any issues that they have. And now, more so than ever, we also have government entities calling us, requesting assistance. So that's what we're basically trying to do. We're trying to connect people, and that's the main role that we have at this time. The connection of people with services. We help nonprofit organizations. We help new businesses that are coming up. So it's very exciting because there is no such thing as any day being the same. Every day is something new. Every day we assist more and more individuals. And I got to say that working with my partners here, we do a lot for the community.
You love the community. So as a former armed forces guy, Navy,
Of course.
labor,
Go Navy.
worked in labor also,
Yeah.
former senator.
Former senator. Yeah.
So you put all these in one basket now, and now you're in one of the most powerful positions that you can be in.
Yeah, and I'm very grateful for this opportunity. I got to thank the Honorable Governor Bryan for giving me this opportunity to serve the people, and I want to really express my thanks once again to these two individuals. We work as a team.
Great.
If I have an issue and I need some answers, phone call away.
Phone call. Tekima,
Hi.
now you seem like the person that direct commissioners and directors exactly what you want done. You don't ask a question, you tell them what to do. Is
Yes.
that correct?
That is not correct.
Okay, I
Yes.
just
You
want
were
to make
trying to get me in trouble here.
No, I just want to make sure. So tell me a little bit about what your background is before you became an administrator, and how has the role of administrator, molded you into the type of person and to help you with the community that you want, to get the job done for them.
Well, I would just say I did a complete circle. I started in government with Governor Schneider and Lieutenant Governor Mapp in 1995. So I started out at Government House, and then I got transferred over to the administrator office on St. John, where I worked under Jimmy Dalmaida. And after that administration, I was moved over to Sports Parks and Recreation, where I was a project coordinator, where I was responsible for youth and seniors activities and in-school and out-school programs. And I did that for 17 years. And then I did a complete circle, and I came back to Government House as the St. John administrator. So I am grateful and thankful for serving for 25 years and will continue to serve as long as I possibly can.
So, gentlemen, recently she was talking about being nervous and excited, and didn't sound that way to me, did it?
No.
No, she's never known.
So you worked in Parks and Recreation what year?
I work at Sports Parks and Recreation for 17 years.
And when did you start? When did you leave?
I never
Just
really
a
paid
quick question.
I didn't pay
The reason why I asked you
attention
that, because I was in Parks and Recreation myself.
I fell under Ira Hobson.
I was there at the same time. I'm surprised I didn't meet you, but that's okay. That's a different story. Tell me a little bit about the projects that you guys, when you came in January, Avery, Sammy, the same thing in January, and she came in February. And I'm sure when you came in, you had certain projects that you wanted to get off the ground, or that prior to becoming an administrator, you were saying to yourself, if I was administrator, this is what I would want to get done. Let me start with you, Shakima, because you seem to have a mouthful.
Trash, abandoned vehicles and roads.
You like that program, the abandoned vehicles?
Actually, I do.
You do?
I really do. I do enjoy it. I do. I do.
Because I have a problem with it, but that's my problem. The reason I say I have a problem, it's a good program. I just think it's kind of misplaced, and I can say that. You guys can't say that because you might lose your job tomorrow, but I can say that. No, it's a good program. It was taken away from the Office of the Governor under my tenure as administrator, given to Public Works. Now I realize it's back. And Sam, you were telling me at the one time that program actually brought in some good money for the government.
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
and
I
it
want
also-
that brought in. We're trying to bring it back. So far, we have made a dent, especially here on the island of St. Croix. We have recovered over 400 abandoned vehicles in less than 2 years, and that's only on the island of St. Croix.
And Avery, the same thing for you. I'm sure.
I would say that number is accurate, maybe a little more in St. Thomas. But what some of the problem is that the program is designed to refund itself. As you know, we submit the fines, but we're working closely with BMV to make sure that those fines go in. Sometimes that's in it. There's some cases where the vehicles are just not traceable. You can't find a VIN number or something. But for the most part, yeah, we've been tracking and doing what we have to do. I'm saying, the community have been a great help with us.
Yeah.
Calling the office, letting us know where these vehicles are. But it's timing. Sometimes it's money, it's staffing issues, and that's not just the primary role of the administrator.
That's what I was going to say.
So-
It takes up a lot of your time.
Yeah, so we had to set a schedule. So this day is going to be for abandoned vehicles. Sometimes it fluctuates, it changes. And then sometimes there's just other crises where people maliciously probably put an old car someplace and I have to go deal with it and address the matter. But that's not the primary role of the administrator, because we're still fielding calls every day and going out and checking things and touching base with the community. I mean, the role of an administrator don't stop behind of a desk. You have to go out there. You have
People
to see the problem.
people actually want to see you.
want to see you.
Yeah.
No, they're gonna see me out there with a shovel in the hand all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to help out.
I noticed that with you guys. You don't just get in a position where you have project going on. You actually get involved with the program. You get your
Yes.
you get your feet
Yeah.
wet, your hands dirty, and everything like that.
And then at times, with the role, you actually have to represent the governor to different
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get to that.
functions,
We're going to get to that. But before we get to that again, because I know Representative Governor, before we get to that, I like to talk a lot, so I got off base. A couple of your projects that you started. What was like two of your projects that you got done when you first came on board?
Well, one of the things I got when I first started on board, I did a cleanup in Savannah that was sponsored by tourism. We did a cleanup in Smith Bay that was sponsored by tourism again. And then right now we're running some different projects. We reached out to a couple universities who came home as projects, some homies, and we did it in Garden Street, Long Path. We did it in Round the Field. I did this program with Public Works, going out in different neighborhoods and putting crews in areas that was never overseen, passed over, for lack of a better word. So those are things we're working on thus far.
And Zap, I know you always, I see you here, I see you there doing certain things across the island.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited because I was able to do something that I'm very passionate about, and that's to help the homeless. What we did is that we were able to get a grant to assist 10,000 helpers down in Frederick to expand
That was a
their
substantial grant.
space. Huh?
That was a very good grant.
Yeah, it was under the COVID-19 grant. And basically what we're going to do is that we're going to take these trailers and we're going to convert them to space for these individuals. We're also helping other nonprofit organizations. We just assisted Men's Coalition to receive a grant, and they're going to expand their services to their residents. So I'm very excited about this because every day, we come up with these new ideas. I just recently, last week, I started a new program which I call Senior Citizen Document Program. And basically what we're telling seniors is that their documents, their birth certificates, they're important papers, bring them to the office. We're going to scan them and put them in a USB drive. Along with all their documents, once we scan them, we're also going to give them a waterproof envelope where they can store their documents. As you know, one of the worst things after a storm, besides, of course, loss of property, is loss of documents. We have to assist a lot of individuals because of that. And then one of the things that I'm also involved in is getting the Drag Racing Association back on track. We already got the track down, almost like 80% of it done. And so that's what we've been working on.
So you're directly involved in that?
Yes, I've been helping Arthur Hector, as you know.
Yeah.
He's a new president. With the help of the legislature and, of course, the office of the governor, we were able to get some funding for it, and I'm working with him.
We're going to start asking about the horse race track in a minute also. So,
Bring it on.
Yeah?
Bring it on.
Bring it on, bring it on. The community, especially the business owners of each town, whether it's Charlotte Amari, Cruz Bay, Coral Bay, Christian said, Frederickstead, they like to have interaction with the administrator or the office of the governor. Now, everybody wants to talk to the governor, wants to have a one-on-one with the governor. But your role is to bridge that gap between the governor and the retailers or the restaurant folks. How has that been within the last, say, 17, 18 months?
Well, for me particularly, I've had numerous meetings with the Chamber of Commerce. I've had numerous meetings with Rotary and so forth. So in St. Thomas, there's a major project going on in the main street where they're redoing the whole main street. So, every day, I remember early in the project, it was like real tedious. It was real devastating. Businesses was going out and, there wasn't income coming in. So, just to go down, just to have a conversation with them, just to speak with the contractor, see how we could expedite the process to make life easier for the business community. Not only that, to come up with ideas, make them be a part of the project, not just that the project is running. So they may see things that, hey, like one time we came up with an idea talking about the taxis. So it wasn't just about the business community telling me about the taxis, how they feel that the taxi service should run down Main Street. So that I got on the horn, got to my desk, start contacting VIPD, Public Works, bringing in the Taxi Association, and everything. So we could have this conversation of then when this project is open, finished and completed, how is this taxi world going to look? So that's what I'm talking about. We're getting their buy-in. So it doesn't be that you wasn't a part of it. And going on the road, just looking at the aesthetics of it, they had an input in it. So, the governor couldn't be to every meeting.
Right.
But once I'm there.
And he's not expected to.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
But some people just like to hear from the governor.
Well, that's nice.
But they know that when I go back, an answer is coming back.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
And how was your answer received? By who?
Oh, it's very receptive.
Very receptive.
Very receptive.
They like what you do.
Yeah.
Like what you do.
It's very receptive because, I'm the kind of person that if I can't get it done, I mean what I say. I ain't coming sugarcoating it. This is the answer. This is what the decision the administration made. We took your input, and this is the compromise, and we work it out together.
You just made a comment that it may not be a response that they wanted to hear.
Yeah.
How do you handle that?
Well,
Moving forward, yes.
Well, sometimes with a sweet, you have to take the bitter. So it's not.
So you have more sweet than bitter.
Well, sometimes. So, and even in this role, and I know with the governor and the lieutenant governor, sometimes we have to make some tough and popular decisions.
Yeah, okay. Takima in St. John, because you have an area where as you come off the boat in St. John, you got restaurants and businesses there. So, I mean, that's the heart.
That's the heart.
That's the heart. And you have a good working relationship with them, or have they called on you for a lot of help, or no, or they just you just expected to get things done?
No, not really. Mostly what we collaborate a lot. And St. John is all about collaboration and networking. We work really well with government and private sectors. And St. John, it works really, really well for us. And it's something that we're going to continue to do because that's what builds Love City. You can't have Love City without connection and communication. So with some of the business owners, we collaborate with each other and we work out very, very well. And any problems or issues that they may have, we sit down, we try to see how we could best deal with it on the floor one time, or if I have to take a step further to get that information from them and get that connection between them and their answer.
Well, let me ask you this question now. As far as, I'll start with Sammy. as far as the towns are concerned, do you get a lot of complaints with respect to VIPD presence in your town, and how can you be of assistance in getting more presence in town? Case in point, you're in the States. You're going Walgreens, one of those places. You see a police officer saying already having a soda. I mean, somebody stops by, and the business owners feel comfortable because, hey, well, police is here, everything is okay. Do you get that kind of request? So to
Yes.
speak?
Oh, yeah. We almost on a weekly basis, we get a request for more police presence. So, we work well with the commissioner here in St. Croix with Chief Elsko, the new chief.
Mm-hmm.
And, we really try to encourage the presence of police officers, and not just in town, around the island.
In the community.
In the community. What we really want to see is boots to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Have police officers walk the community, get to know the people. In my days, our days, remember a while back. Remember, we used to have actually certain police officers. They used to walk our community. We know them by name.
Right.
I always remember when I was little in Clifton Hill, Officer Nieves. He used to come by, have a cafecito, and walk around the streets and talk to people. And that's what we really need to see. And I believe the commission is really pushing for police officers to roll down their windows, talk to the people, greet the people. Once in a while, walk into the stores, introduce themselves. That's what we need.
And get a free drink.
I didn't go there, but you said it.
Well, soda. I don't.
A soda, yeah.
So Shakila, tell me how do you think that works in St. John?
I agree with my colleague over here. More police presence is always asked for in Cruz Bay, and especially in Coral Bay. Coral Bay is actually the main first town of St. John. It was the first town when we was under the Danish flag.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we did all of our tradings back then before we came to Cruz Bay. And police presence in Coral Bay, it's limited. It's limited, but we're working on it, working alongside Deputy Vivian
Yeah,
Newton,
Vivian
right,
Newton.
and Commissioner Valère. We're working on making sure that we could get that present in St. John. And in Cruz Bay, you just got to get out the car and walk around. It's just a walk.
Just a walk.
It's just a
So for
walk.
people who are not familiar with St. John, which spot has the most action? Cruz Bay, Coral Bay?
What kind of action?
No. Be careful now.
Okay, nightclub action.
Cruz Bay.
Okay,
Cruz Bay.
Cruz Bay.
Cruz Bay.
It's a beautiful place. Okay, and Avery.
Well, I'll say that, there's a lot of moving parts with the police department. So they can't be every place all the time. So a lot of times I do ask the citizens, the community, to assist the police. Mm-hmm. But I also ask the police to do their part, drive around, crack your windows, hail, smile, shake a hand, get to know the people. Last year, what I did, I had this EDC company donated 200 turkeys to me. So I picked 2 different public neighborhoods, 2 different housing neighborhoods as well, Portland Pearson Gardens and Bovoni Housing Projects. And instead of I handing out the turkeys, I involved the police. So, we had the police there to give out the turkeys, meet and greet the people. Commissioner Vellenor came and rolled up his sleeves, got in there. We're not talking. That's one of the ways this administration feel that orienting yourself with the community, because those same people you're going to need in the future when something happens. So, this year, I've reached out to my EDC body and I asked them, I said, man, last year I think that was a hit. I don't know if you could increase the number of turkeys or have to do a bigger division.
It went well?
Well, it went well, and he said it was a success as well. And so, we're working it out so we could hit a couple more communities. But not just the housing communities, but to get in the communities that sometimes we just don't get to all the time. Like a Limburg Bay, or Old Tutu, something, get out there. And even Water Island.
Yeah, you better mention Water Island.
Water Island.
People listening.
That's my family over there, Water Island.
And talking about turkeys and stuff like that, we could use some turkeys in the State St. John, Sam.
I knew you were going to. I had a feeling you were going to bring that up.
Well, we're from the same neighborhood, so we could use some
Want
turkeys
some
in it.
turkey?
What's a turkey?
You want some turkey?
All right, your role as far as we do have some guests with us this evening. Virtual guests, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
Out of St. Thomas, we have Laurie Anderson. She'll be asking questions, of course, to our St. Thomas administrator. Out of St. Croix, we have Chris Mitchell. He'll be harassing, of course, Samosanis. And Deetra Powell out of St. John, she has a lot of questions, and she has some very interesting questions. We probably get, oh, there she is, she's smiling. So, how are you guys doing this evening?
How you doing?
Hi.
Hi.
Good evening.
Hi.
I'm
Okay.
doing well.
You're doing well. Okay, let's start off with Chris. Mr. Chris Mitchell from St. Croix. You can start off with your question.
Ready? Good afternoon. First question is, what's going on with the roads in downtown being left in disrepair? The running on the runoff is really bad. It's not good for the town and the harbor.
That's an excellent question, and I have to say that Chris and I would go way back. We have worked in different community activities, so he's very involved in the community. When it comes to the roads, especially the ones here in Christiansted, as you know, they're working, but there's different entities that are working on the road itself. You know, we have WAPA that is laying down the water pipes. We also have AT&T that are doing the trenches. So all of these activities are taking place, and what we're trying to do is to have all these different activities actually do what they have to do before we finally pave the roads, finish paving the road. And it has to be done that way because we keep making the same mistake that we did in the past. We pave a road, and then 2-3 months later, another entity comes, tear it up again. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to fix the roads within a certain time span.
I was going to ask you, do we have a time frame?
Yeah, we do. We're trying to work on a time frame. And one of the issues that we have is a lot of these entities, and when I say entities, government entities, they get their funding at a different time.
Okay. And that's very, very tough.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the problem.
We want to make sure that we get a question or two from every of our virtual callers. So we're going to go to Deetra Powell out of St. John. Deetra, I'm sorry. I got corrected. Deetra, we want to let you ask the question of Shakima. Go ahead.
Yes, my first question tonight is also pertaining to the roads on St. John. For example, the main road from Cruz Bay to Carl Bay sustained several damages before and during the storms from September 2017. While some was patched by the administrator and her team, many are still deteriorating. So the residents of St. John is wondering exactly when can we anticipate these roads being fixed?
Well, that's a great question. And I have some exciting news to share, if I may.
Go ahead.
So recently tonight, I got my press release from the Public Works Department where the Centerline Road on Adrian Stretch, we finally got the go-ahead for September 28, 2020 to start construction on that stretch. So I am very, very excited about
Congratulations.
that. You don't know how happy I am. St. John will be so happy about that. But in the future, we're also, Commissioner Petty and the crew is working so hard to also get some fundings together and go to the design stage of Centerline Road, which is Route 108 from Cruz Bay to Carvel Bay. So we're also looking at that, and I'll be very, very up on top of them to make sure that St. John gets their roads done.
Thank you. Thank you, Shakima.
You're welcome.
Deetra, I hope you like that one. Let's go to Laurie, Miss Laurie Anderson. Let's have Laurie ask a question of the St. Thomas Water Administrator. Laurie?
Most of my questions were answered. I mean, my first question was answered in the role of the responsibilities and the roles of the St. Thomas Water Island Administrator. But I want to also recommend to him that he does not forget St. John, because I know St. John does have the needs over there also, so I would like to recommend that he does not forget St. John. And like I said, my first question was beautifully answered because that's one of the questions you asked Mr. James. So that in speaking to the roles and the responsibilities of the St. Thomas Administrator. So I'll wait for the next go round.
Go ahead. You know, I'm going to give you the opportunity. I want you to ask a question. I ain't going to let you get what's so easy.
Okay, all right. I'd like to ask the St. Thomas Administrator, what strategies do you look at, use that allows you to work in conjunction with all governmental agencies that would be beneficial to your office, becoming successful in assisting the members of our community?
I think. Thank you for that question, Ms. Anderson. I think one of the greatest tools that I have to me is that when we first came in this position from onset, the governor made it clear to his cabinet, when my administrators call, respond, assist them, walk with them, don't cast them aside. And that open line communication have worked greatly, and I've used it every day tremendously. And the cabinet has as well, we work together. It's not a dictatorship or anything we call bullying. We work together. So maybe it takes a little time, and sometimes it takes some repetitious calling and probing and things, but we do get through. So that's a great tool to me. And I thought one of the other things is my ability to go out there and just communicate and just not sit behind the desk and navigate. You have to go out and assess and see the problem for yourself. So I think that capability in me, and then just networking, being able to bridge the gap between public and private partnerships as well too, and having the support of a boss, the Lieutenant Governor Tregenza Roach and the Governor Albert Bryan, and even to the Chief of Staff is always there. Okay, I have a problem. No, if you don't have a problem, we always have solutions in this administration.
We're going to get to he tonight before we leave, I hope. All right.
So thank you, Ms. Anderson. Lovely
Thank
question.
you, Ms. Anderson. You want to follow up on that? Or no, I'll tell you what. Let me go back to Dietra again. Dietra, go ahead and ask your second question.
Look at that camera when you're speaking.
My second question pertains to the graveyard. The graveyard in Frisbee can be seen as overcrowded and lost special attention, such as painting, bathing, and moving forward. Where can the resident expect to lay their loved ones to rest? When will fencing be replaced, and more importantly, what is being done to the graves that are on the lower side of the floor line that are being washed away?
Okay.
That's a good
Dr. Iman?
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
She put me on the spot.
But she has a right to. Yeah.
Yeah, she has a right to. She's right.
Yeah.
So in regards to our graveyard, right now, we are collaborating, DPW is collaborating with a nonprofit organization on St. John, which is the St. John Foundation Community Foundation. I do apologize. At this time, we took down the old fencing that was there because it was just really bad and it was disrespectful, and we're about to replace that. But it takes time because we have to go through the design stage of that, and we have to go through permits and the bids and stuff. So we're in the process of dealing with the situation of how the graveyard look at this time. In regards to the fact that we're all aware that our graveyard has limited space at this time, we're in communication with the Congress Lady Office and the governor and myself, and to see how best we can have a discussion with the National Park to see if it's a possibility of, looking for a suitable place on St. John to have a graveyard for St. John, because we all know that St. John is basically 2/3 national park,
Right.
and the other part is privately owned. There's not really much property on the island of St. John that is owned by the local government. So
you
we're
have a-
working on that. It's a serious thing
You
that's
have a
going on. Yeah, it's very, very serious.
Very serious challenge in St.
Yes.
John. All right, we're trying to get through this question because I know you guys have some more. I want to go to Chris. Chris, go ahead with your second question.
I want a real straight up answer about when they're going to be into the modular hospital. When is construction going to start on the new one? It's been 3 years. The senators have a snazzy new home, but people are still using porta potties outside the emergency room.
That's a good one.
Good one, Chris. Good one.
Another one. But you know what though? The modular hospital is back. Can you hear me? Okay.
Go
The
ahead.
modular hospital is back on track. As you know, because of COVID, we had to slow down a little, but it is back on track. As you can see, if you pass by the Juan Luis Hospital, you see the modules being set up. They're already erected. So what they're doing is that they're going to start moving the equipment, moving the personnel to the modular hospital so they can start renovating the old hospital. I just spoke to one of the officers today, one of the supervisors, and that's a plan of action. COVID-19 has really put a monkey wrench in some of our planning and slowed us down. But we are getting back on track to have our hospital, our Juan Luis Hospital, totally demolished and refurnished, and the modular hospital will be up and running pretty soon.
Pretty soon. Thanks for that question. I hope that answers your question, Chris. And I know you sounded very concerned about that. Okay, thank you. Laurie, let me get back to Laurie. Go ahead, Laurie. You have another question, Laurie? Laurie Anderson.
I want to address the homelessness on the island. I know it's not the responsibility of the administrators, but I want to commend Mr. Lewis because at one time the bus stations were filled with homeless people. And He really took on the emancipation guard where the homeless and everybody the local were going to point. And the homeless people were really taking advantage of this place. So I know that, Mr. Lewis has been trying his best. And I'd like to see, I want to commend him because I see that I've not seen as many homeless people, but they're still out there. So I would like to work with the administrators to work with the correct agencies in getting this problem solved. My last question is, what were your goals when you came into this position? And have you reassessed or have you set the goals you to meet?
Well, Mr. Anderson, thank you for that question. One of my goals when I came in this administration was to start keeping the place clean. And when I got in there, I had a general idea of what the role of the administration is. So, but mostly when I took office, I realized, well, this is a broader scope. So I had to recalculate, readjust, and come again. So therefore I sat down and I said, I wanted a better communication between the community and the administration. I wanted a staff that recognizes different things out there when they report back to me, like for the cleanliness and things, and let's come up with plan strategies, how we could better serve this community. Thirdly, I just wanted it to be a safe place, for not just for our residents, but for the tourists that are coming in. And when I say a safe place, and that's working closely with the VIPD and all the supporting agencies. And I think we have accomplished that a lot, because the place is not 100% clean, but we get in there.
It's better than how you manage.
We're spending, DPW we've done a tremendous turnaround. We have some contracts out to improve the aesthetics of the place. The governor is just, every time he calls, he said, let's collaborate. Let's think on things that we could do. And we put in plans in motion. As you can see, we have the Veteran Drive project. That's a beautiful thing. We have cleanups going on regularly. But like my colleague talked about, my partner talked about, the COVID stuff, that's really slowed down a lot of the things. But then the communication too, because right now we have some issues where people can't get through to certain agencies, and they use my office as a conduit to these other agencies. So we have improved that, the communication between the community and the administration. And then when it comes to safety.
I can't hear anything. Yeah, I can't hear.
Okay, don't worry, we'll get to you.
When it comes to safety.
So go ahead, Avery, go ahead.
Sorry, when it comes to safety, Commissioner Vellenor just came on board not too long ago, but then he has a great working team, and they're trying their best. And they do answer the calls to include WAPA. So it's not just about you seeing the police out there, but it's just making the community safer, putting up street lights, making sure the traffic signals are in place, the traffic lights are in place, different things. So it's just a lot of moving parts, all coming together slowly but surely. And we're going to get there.
All right.
And with the community help, I know we're going to get there.
Let's go back to Dietra again. Dietra, you have a third question?
Yes, last and final question.
No, I will determine that, but you go ahead. If it's the last and final question.
I would like to discuss the emergency signals on the road assistance, particularly with caution signs like the stop sign, yield sign, slow speed bump ahead, the major sidewalk, yellow lines on the road, and most importantly, the tsunami power. Very good, I think.
Thank you very much, Dietra. Great question. So in regards to the repainting of our roads and putting back up our signs and our crosswalks, I'm very much so ready to do that. But at this time, we're also waiting for the underground project for WAPA that will be starting next month. We don't want to start painting our streets and our crosswalk for that to get dig up to put it back down again. So it's all about working smart and working together and making sure everything runs smoothly and not repeat the process over again and spend unnecessary funding. But in regards to the tsunami question, I'm also happy to say thank you to Vitima and to Director Joshin and his team that our tsunami poles should be in the territory by January 2021, and they should be installed by the ending of May 2021. The wooden poles will be replaced by our galvanized steel poles, and they all will be up, sounding, testing, and we're so excited. It should be up and ready in time for our next hurricane season.
And that's just to help Shakima out there, not to help, but just to add to it, is that right now in the community, I don't know if a lot of you notice that we have a lot of new signs going up, stop sign, yield sign, different thing. You're going to see a contractor, custom builders, they have won the bid, and the signs are being erected. So you're going to see new signs going in place. So where all the old signs was, territory-wide, you're going to see new signs up. So I am seeing it, it's visible. If you look at the DPW Facebook page, Public Works Facebook page, or the administrator's Facebook page, or the governor's Facebook page, you're going to see these things. So press releases are going out. So slowly but surely, things are coming back to normal.
And I want to commend you for what you're saying about letting WAPA finish their job first before you started to do paving.
It's all about working smart.
Yeah.
Exactly. And there's nothing that annoys the community more, and rightfully so, than a road that's been recently paved, and all of a sudden here comes somebody digging it up to put in a pipe. You know, so all that kind of stuff needs to be done.
So you want to show the taxpayers that we're working smart with their
Working
funds.
smart. That's the most important thing. Now, I think I have one more question for Chris. Chris, if you're ready, you can have another question.
On the boardwalk, and especially late at night, there's a lot of kids, especially young kids. And with the no school and the parks being closed due to COVID, I want to know if it's on your radar or anything to keep these kids from being idle. I mean, back to what you were saying earlier about the cops on the street. It was nice when we had the bike patrol, but just more presence late at night on the boardwalk is actually needed.
Yeah, and I'm very glad that you brought that question up, because sometimes when I think about it, I think, okay, what's the responsibility of the parents, especially with young children at nighttime? This is not to chastise them, but I think the parents need to take more of a role in terms of taking care of their children. I witnessed late at nighttime when I go to the boardwalk or I'm around town, I'm seeing children walking around. We're talking about 10, 12 years old, just walking around late at nighttime. So really, the parents need to really take more of an active role and start parenting. We can't just have the police or any other law enforcement just try to do the parenting role. We just cannot. We really have to get together as a community to have these children go at a certain time back into their homes, do their homework, do their chores, but it's up to the parents to really start taking care of their children.
Thank you. Chris, you satisfied with that one? All right. So I want to...
Good enough for me.
Okay. let me just ask the three of you, anybody else has any other questions they want to ask? You know, because I mean, your questions are very good. Your questions are very... It's actually the things that we need to hear. And it's a lot of questions. So I know, Dietrich, you had about 27 questions, at least. So, so if you want, if anybody wants to do a follow-up on anything, feel free. I mean, just let me know.
I have a follow-up, though.
Well, okay. Let me let Sanders, Administrator Sanders, say something.
Just real quick. As you know, I'm extremely passionate about the homeless situation that we have here. And we're expanding the programs here on St. Croix and hopefully to St. John, St. Thomas and St. John. We're working closely with the nonprofit organizations to really bring some services to the homeless population. I just came back from Puerto Rico, and there's a program over there, the first one in the Caribbean, in which it's a shelter designated to assist the homeless population that have COVID. They're going to treat them, they're going to house them there, and they're going to give them services, wraparound services, so they can come back to the community. So that is something that I really want to see here in the Virgin Islands. We are seeing, in the past few years, we have seen the population of the homeless grow. Mm-hmm. We have people from everywhere. Mm-hmm. So that's something that we are addressing. So the young lady that asked that question about homeless, just letting you know that we are working with the nonprofit organizations and also with the government entities to tackle this issue.
Good one. Any follow-up from Avery or Shakima? Yes.
Mr.
Go ahead, Laurie.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would just like to commend the three administrators for an excellent job that they're doing. I know it's not an easy job because you're dealing with all the governmental agencies, you're dealing with the people in the community, you're dealing with the mental illnesses, you're dealing with the homelessness and everything, but I just want to commend them because I have to say, I can't really speak about the St. John and St. Croix administration, but I know if I hear anything and I see anything, I call Mr. Lewis, the administrator for the St. Thomas Water Island District, and I get responses. So I just want to applaud all three and tell them to
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
very much.
Appreciate
Laurie,
that.
that means a lot. As a former administrator myself, it's always good to hear that you're doing a good job, or at least you're trying, and someone is appreciative of everything that you're doing. It's not an easy job, and it's very difficult to be able to please everyone. But I want to thank the three of you for being on the program with us this evening. And at this particular time, we're going to go for a little short break. And when we're done, we're going to come back. But thank you guys for being with us tonight, and we hope to see you the next time we have another program.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Gracias.
I have.
I have.
I have asthma.
But all asthma triggers aren't the same for everyone.
My triggers are dust, mold, and pollen.
Strenuous exercise.
Perfume and tobacco smoke.
Anxiety and stress.
To manage my asthma, I needed a plan.
I worked with a neurologist to identify my asthma triggers and found the best medications to prevent and control my symptoms.
As I got older, my asthma changed, so I talked to my doctor about adjusting my plan.
Partnering with my family and healthcare provider helps me manage my asthma and keep doing the things that I love. And now I can breathe much easier.
To learn more about managing asthma, visit doh.vi.gov.
I'm Jan. I'm an artist. St. Croix is my home, and I'm a registered voter. I registered to vote 54 years ago when the voting age was 21. I felt very excited. I became an adult. Now the voting age is 18, and younger people have a stronger and more powerful voice. Well, Alexander Pope, a poet, said it was up to artists to see the beauty around us in the world. As an artist myself, I love the colors and vibrancy of these islands that we call home. We, as citizens, hold the power to strengthen the Virgin Islands. Voting is everyone's duty. After all, if you don't vote, you mustn't complain. Every vote counts. Your vote can make the difference. So register to vote, listen to the candidates, and then choose wisely.
Well, we are back. And want to thank you for giving us an opportunity to get a little break, get a little drink of water, stuff like that. And we're back again to get your questions. Now, we have some questions from the audience from Facebook that we'll be getting to also. One of the first questions that we do have is from Makeda. And the question is, can they maintain the bridge by the airport's stoplight? Also, can they at least fix the road on the highway by Cruise and Rum stoplight heading west?
Yeah. I think, well, not I think, that is on the schedule to get fixed. I'm a little bit concerned about the bridge part. But Makeda, please call my office, 773-1404, or my cell, 690-8861, so you can clarify your questions. But those areas are scheduled to be fixed.
And Makeda has a second question, and that question is, since it's hurricane season, and we're in the middle of it actually, I think we just got over the peak, and we're starting to head down now, hopefully. Can the appropriate clean out of the guts can it happen, and can they be maintained?
And I'm glad that she asked that question. We have two individuals, Mr. Ali, who's working right now for Public Works, and Ms. Dawn Bruce, Jamil Ali, If you know him, and Ms. Dawn Bruce, they're doing a wonderful job. I have to say we have at least between 70 or 75% of the guts clean out here, and they're just going around. As a matter of fact, just yesterday, today, Mr. Ali went, I believe, to Frangipani to check out the huge gut there. So they are doing their rounds, they are cleaning the guts.
And those guts obviously have not debris, but growth.
It's growth. Some of them have not been cleaned for years.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of work.
Okay. All right. This is one I go after. Like someone said, still haven't gotten my tax check, and IRB isn't answering. Can you help, Avery?
Well, I know recently this administration expended $20 million about 2 weeks ago in the community for tax checks. If you haven't received your up to 2017 yet, I ask that you contact IRB. But if you can't get through to them, my office number is 693-4350. 693-4350. Give me a call, and I'll surely reach out to Director Joel Lee and find out what's the issue. Have someone contact you, and I'm going to give you your personal information. But therefore, I definitely will have, bridge that gap between you and your tax check.
Shakima?
Yes, you can also reach out to me as well. You can call my office at 776-6484, 776-6484, or you can call me on my cell at 340-474-5762, 340-474-5762, and I'll make sure to help and assist you the best way I can, okay?
And folks, to be quite honest with you, that's a good question, because when I was administrator also, I received many phone calls from constituents concerning their tax checks. I was able to make phone calls, and I was able to be successful in getting information to that back. And many folks got their tax checks. So.
That's in sometimes it'll be things like people are being audited, maybe the wrong address.
Yes.
The postal services have said that checks have been returned. It's just a matter of correcting address. Maybe there may be a difference in a letter and a name or something. Maybe the reprocessing of a check.
And not realize it when they
filed.
filed.
These are serious concerns. Yeah. But reach out, and I'll surely try my best to bring some kind of resolution between you and your tax check.
And Avery seems to be a serious person. You notice he ain't smiling much out. Like
No, he ain't smiling at all.
Okay. Here's another good question. We need more money from the stimulus. Is it coming?
I agree.
Is it coming?
I agree. I can't see more coming. I'm waiting to hear what the Congress and the Senate approve. And then definitely, I know Governor Bryan would not hesitate to roll it out to the community.
And Governor Bryan is in constant communication with delegates to Congress.
Oh,
Definitely.
Yeah. Communication is good.
Communication is great, yes. Awesome.
Talks about the communication between not just the delegates, but the people in Washington.
All right. Now, these are some tough questions. Here's the next one. How can the government fix the WAPA issue? Hey, I mean, take a shot.
Well, I can take a big shot. One of the things is what I think that I know for a fact is that this administration, from even before, pledged to do a better job with WAPA, have reduced rates and so forth. And then this time, I know we are already in a phase of ordering new equipment for all 3 islands. New generators. St. John going to have their own backup plant. So when Red Hook go out, my sister here could still have power. So new generation products is coming online. But you know what? We're suffering with WAPA. I'm 40 plus, and WAPA has been going on. This issue has been going on, but this administration pledged to fix it, and I see progress in the horizon.
Well, on St. John, I'm very excited. When it comes to WAPA, for WAPA, St. John will finally be off of Red Hook grid. Finally, amen.
Wow.
It was due time for that to happen, so I'm looking forward to that generator backup plan to happen down at Moorhead Point, and we also going to have one in Carroll Bay, so that's even exciting, bringing some action to Carroll Bay.
I mean, you really, seriously, I mean, it may sound, because you have a way of expressing it in a nice way. But it seems like there's a lot of exciting things about to happen in the island of St. John.
Yes.
So
roads. We just put down with waste management. I would like to also say thank you to Director Merritt and Director Olivia Robes for helping us out with waste management. We got some new, bigger bins on St. John, because St. John is a growing community. Everybody wants to be on St. John, and why not? It is Love City. But we have to have the service to accommodate the flow of people that would like to visit St. John or be on St. John.
Can I rebut that?
No. No, it's my turn.
I'm curious if she's here as administrator tonight, or is she here on behalf of tourism?
But it's a combination of both.
Combination of both.
We represent everybody.
Great. great response, though. Here's a question from Samantha. Are there any future thoughts on utilizing taxpayer funding for waste disposal and recycling?
Yes. Yeah, I have to say that we're making some headways when it comes to recycling. Just recently, we had some legislative hearings in which we discussed the possibility of opening up a recycling center here. We also have private entities, I believe, in both districts that are moving forward in terms of doing more recycling. So the answer to that, it is yes, but at the same time, there's opportunities for the private sector to get into the business of recycling. A few years ago, I went to Taiwan, and believe it or not, I believe it's between 80 and 90% of their garbage is recycled. I went there, we went to several centers. It was run by volunteers, and they recycle it, and they produce suitcases, shirts. I bought a couple of T-shirts that are made from Coca-Cola bottles or plastic bottles. So it is a possibility for both the government and the private sector to work together to start doing recycling.
Well, one of the problems with recycling is we don't have a plant to recycle. Like, for instance, if we collect all the plastics that we need to collect, the cans, the bottles, there is no company here that can take these bottles, cans, and whatever to recycle. Or is there, Shakima?
On St. John there is. It's called Island Green Living.
Yes.
Island Green Living is a nonprofit organization. They're the one that went before the legislature a couple years ago, as in the banning of the straws. They're actually stationed on St. John, right up at the Susannaburg transfer station off of Vitron. They're all in one area. And this month, they moved 800,000 aluminum cans and plastic bottles off of the island of St. John.
Wow.
So we do have a program on St. John, and I encourage everyone to recycle, reuse, and to take your aluminum cans and your plastic bottles up to the Susannaburg transfer station and look for Island Green Living and rest your bag right there, and it'll be all taken care of.
And just to piggyback off of that, on St. Thomas, we were more looking at a private-public partnership to assist with.
Exactly.
So we're in communication with several companies.
This is for the three of you. Tires. The issue of tires.
Well, tires, that's... Man, I tired of seeing them around the bin sites and so forth. So therefore, we're looking for a company, another private-public partnership. So for somebody to come and take the rubber from us, so let's do something useful. We had some different offers on the table, but it wasn't feasible for us, and we didn't want that the Virgin Islands lose out on it.
You guys are doing a lot of work, boy. Another question from Sharice: will the road in Bovoni be repaired? And what about the road from Solberg that leads to Crown Mountain?
No question would be for me.
That question is for you.
That's it.
Nobody else can answer that question.
So I know I've spoke to Commissioner Petty about it, about the road in Bovoni. Not only the road in Bovoni, the long strip leading from the horse track, come all the way up to Bartesiba Shelter School. But we also talk about paving the roads going into Thomasville and so forth. But what has happened is that, like we talked about, there's some underground work slated for those areas. And, I take responsibility for right now in the front of the Puma gas station, but for years, we have always had fires in the landfill. And the fire department never had adequate amount of water. So I took the initiative and had WAPA place a hydrant on the landfill. So therefore, we had to dig up the road. So now I have Public Works going to go back to smooth out that area. But before we do all of that, we have to clean the area, get it cut, do different things, get infrastructure in place. But it is on the table. It's not going to happen right now. But then the road in Solberg to Crown Mountain, that I think that is under construction at this time, if I'm not mistaken. But serious, if I haven't answered it correctly, give my office a call, 693-4350, and I definitely ask Commissioner Petty, as they should done, to have an answer for you first thing in the morning.
All right, I think this is another question for you. When are the gutters in St. Thomas going to be cleaned, especially the one between the Department of Education and St. Thomas?
It was specific.
Well,
that's a specific question, yes, sir.
That, to be honest, that gutter has been cleaned. We just did some extensive work there. We spent over about 200,000 there redoing the sewage lines and so forth in there. But I'll definitely have my team go there tomorrow.
Check it out tomorrow.
Check it out tomorrow, and if it's not clean, we'll have a crew in there for next week or shortly.
Okay.
Thank you for that question.
Good question. Here's a question from Cassie. Do you guys believe in universal mask wearing? Do you think it's a good idea?
Yes.
Yes. And I'll answer that proudly.
And I got my mask just in case.
I have my mask right here too.
I got it in my pocket.
I do believe in universal mask wearing. Let me tell you something. I just got over the COVID. I was down for nearly a month. And breathing and coming back isn't no easy thing. I don't take this lightly, so when I go out, I have a mask. That's why we had 6 foot distancing.
You better believe it.
Shakima had it before, and first time we came in, everybody else said, behind the scenes, is wearing a mask. But I don't take it lightly because I was down, and I know the feeling. I know that feeling too good. Breathing, headache, fever, everything. That's why I ask my friends and my family, please protect yourself. Don't take it lightly. Do the right thing. Hand sanitize, wear your mask. Try to avoid the mass gatherings. Adhere to the CDC rules. I know everybody in the Virgin Islands like to fet. Nobody like to fet more than me. You say fet Avery is there, but I know the dangers of this. So I'm asking everybody who's listening to me and who gonna hear the mail tonight or carry the word. Take it serious. Wear your mask, hand sanitize, keep hydrated, keep away from mass gatherings.
Thank you, Avery.
I would like to piggyback on that. Where my good brother over here, Avery, had some serious symptoms and suffering from COVID-19, I in return absolutely had no symptoms whatsoever. I was chippy and jolly as I could possibly be. I didn't have no fever, didn't have no headaches, I didn't have no short of breath. I was just normally going. So when I got tested, I was like, say what? Impossible. Me? Nothing is wrong with me. So, you know, be careful because you never know if you have it or if you don't have it. It's not all of us are going to show any kind of symptoms at all. So please wear your mask, keep your distancing, wash your hands and sanitize as much as you possibly can, and stay safe because this too shall pass and life must go on.
Sammy?
She's so dramatic.
She is very
This too
dramatic.
shall pass.
But seriously, folks, I mean, we are practicing in here the 6 foot social distancing. Everyone in here has a mask on.
Yes.
To protect us who don't have it on, because it would have been virtually impossible for us to talk to you with the mask on. It would be very uncomfortable also. So we're coming close to the end of our program, and I want to start off with, I'm not going to start off with Shakim. I'm going to leave her last. She likes to talk. We'll talk with Avery. Avery, you want to do a wrap-up?
Yes.
Remarks?
First thing first, Dotson and the listening audience, I'd like to thank Father God for giving me health and strength to be part of this job, to come out and do this work every day. I'd like to thank my family for supporting me. I'd like to thank my staff. I have a beautiful staff, Ms. Dawn Simon, my secretary, Carl Caesar, my community liaison, Bill Jean Baptiste, my maintenance guy. Most of all, I'd like to thank Governor Bryan and Lieutenant Governor Roach for having the vision and trust in me to continue and solve this community. I'll also ask the community, I can't be out there and know everything, but you, with your help, I could get this job done and we could be successful. And when our doors open to the wider community, we're going to be ready. So the number to call is 693-4350. The cell number is 227-5423. 693-4350, 227-5423. Thank you.
Thank you, Avery. Sammy?
Well, I want to thank you, of course, for this, for hosting this. It was an awesome show, and I want to thank, of course, the staff back there for doing such a wonderful job. I want to thank Governor Bryan and Lieutenant Governor Roach for giving me the opportunity to serve with these two awesome individuals. I want to thank them. I thank them almost every week anyway, but they're just awesome. My staff, Christina and Ana Montañez, they're doing, Christina Diaz and Ana Montañez, they're doing a wonderful job. My wife, who, when I come late, she doesn't ask questions. She knows that I'm working late. And I just want to thank the community for all the support that they have given me. A lot of them have given me some constructive criticism. A lot of them have given me some criticism, period. But everything has helped. The more you tell me, the more you talk to me, the more I can do for the community. Once again, 773-1404, 773-1404, or 690-8861. 690-8861. Jamaris, my daughter, thank you for giving me my first grandchild.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Shakima.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I would like to say thank God Almighty for health, strength, and family, love, and friendship. I would also like to thank the governor and the lieutenant governor and the cabinet members for putting up with me, bearing with me, and working alongside with me and making sure that we work great as a team, and we sure do. I would also like to thank my team on St. John. I would like to thank Preston Evans, Atara Wilkins, and Miss Claudine Daniels, Scotliff Daniels, and say, hi, Mommy, look at me. And to my beautiful family at home and my friends and my husband and my children, I love you guys. Thank you guys so much, and I'm here to serve you to the best of our ability, right?
That's right.
And my number is 776-6484, 340-776-6484, 340-474-5762.
Hey, and I want to thank each and every one of you. This is Dotson James. It was a wonderful evening. Guys, you did a tremendous job. I thought you were forthright. You answered the questions that came to you. You didn't hesitate. And if you didn't know the questions, the answer to the question, you were able to tell them, call you, which is what I like to hear. So I feel comfortable. And I believe this program this evening will make the community feel more comfortable. Community, don't be afraid to call these folks. That's their job. That's what they're supposed to do. They have a relationship with the governor. They have a relationship with you. They have a relationship with the cabinet. Thank you again for being here with us this evening. I'll see you next time.
Call us. Call me.
That's right, call me.